having discipline with yourself makes you feel more confident because it makes you feel like, okay, I can set a goal for myself and I can succeed at it.
If you clicked on this video, then you have a goal that you're trying to accomplish in the new year. You just need a little bit of motivation and a lot of discipline to get you there. So I think it's time we have this conversation. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 habits of highly disciplined people. Some of these habits will pertain to you and your lifestyle, and some of them won't, and that is okay. But what I do want to know down below is, what do you think is keeping you from being more disciplined, and what are you planning to do to change that in the new year? Without further ado, let's get into this video. Number 1, disciplined people separate their emotions from their goals. Whenever you are embarking on a new goal, a journey, new habits, you are looking at these things as long-term investments, and you are treating them as such. There are going to be days where you wake up and you are fueled by motivation, and there are going to be days where you're not, but you still do what you need to do anyway. As a disciplined person, we are still going to be emotional. We are still going to be human, okay? But you take the time to heal, feel, overcome what you need to overcome, and you move forward because you know what's most important at the end of the day. Because your goals, your health, this journey is a long-term investment. So you do the work, you journal, you go to therapy, you spend time with friends and family. You do the work that is necessary to get yourself out of a negative cycle, and you move forward with what you have planned. It might not feel as though you are resilient enough at times, but I promise you, you are. You are way more resilient than you might think. Dig deep down and think about the times where you went to work, even though you felt awful, even though you felt hungover, even though you felt like that is the last place where you wanted to be. You still went. Why? Because you needed money. You needed to make the money to survive, to live, to do the things that you need to do. That is discipline, okay? I want you to think back on all these experiences and realize that you are resilient and you are capable of being disciplined. As a disciplined person, you understand that despite your circumstances, the world still moves, unfortunately. And you can either continue to be stuck, or you can move towards becoming the person that you've always wanted to be. Number 2, adaptability is a non-negotiable, because adapting to changing circumstances allows you to navigate challenges more effectively. So if a habit that once got you so far is no longer serving you in this season of your life, it is time to say goodbye to that habit, because it is no longer doing any good for you. Disciplined people do not think too hard and too long about why a habit is no longer working for them. It might have been the number one thing that brought you to where you are today, but that does not mean that it's going to work forever, and that is okay. That means moving yourself out of environments, friend groups, situations that no longer align with the bigger picture in your life. As harsh as that sounds, we cannot grow in environments that are no longer serving us. When you realize one of your productive habits is no longer working for you, you avoid falling into a slump that will further push you away from the goal. You adapt, you push forward. A few years ago, I was going to a gym that I loved so much. This gym helped me be in the best shape of my life. I never looked better than when I was going to that gym. But after 3 years at this gym, I started to feel really uninspired. I started to drag my feet to go to the gym. I did not want to be there. Back then, I was a very stubborn girl. I was definitely that person who was like, why would I leave a place that helped me become who I am today? Why would I leave this environment if this environment did so much good for me in my life? So instead of fighting it, instead of trying to make it work just because I had such an attachment to the space, I made a very hard decision to let go of my membership. It took me a long time, but looking back on that, I realized that I didn't need to take the time to overanalyze it. It wasn't working, and it's okay for it not to work anymore. It just wasn't serving me at the time, so I said goodbye, and I embarked on something new. I'm now finally finding my spark again, but I think it's just because I've decided to lean on my own confidence to get me through these big changes in my life. It's all about being flexible, and it's all about adapting to the changes that are thrown at us. I'm sorry if it's kind of loud in the background, but I want you to take this as a sign. If you are feeling stuck in an area that you once thrived in, it's time to make the change. It's time to make the change. Take your time with it, lean into it slowly, but learn to adapt. I promise it's going to push you further in life. Number 3, time management is key. It is not enough to build a routine that works perfectly for your perfect days, okay, and your perfect weeks. You need to build a routine that is easily restructured on the weeks that are finicky. Because let's be honest, life is finicky, life is crazy, and life is going to life. Which, by the way, if you need help on learning how to build a routine that will change your life, I have a video on that. I will link it right here. Make sure you guys check it out in the cards above. You cannot just build a routine that works perfectly on your perfect weeks. For example, let's say you have the perfect routine that you follow week to week. You work out after work, you walk your dog 5 times a week, you're social, you join organizations. Everything is perfect, right? However, next week, you are having to stay after at work an extra 2 hours for the whole week. This is obviously going to throw off your routine, right? This is obviously going to throw off your schedule. A disciplined person is going to think ahead. A disciplined person knows how important it is to have proper time management skills. They do not let life happen to them. They take life by the bootstraps, okay? And take control over the things that they can control. So what do? You decide, instead of going to work out in the afternoon like you usually do, you're going to move your workouts into the morning time. It's only for this week, right? Only for this week. So let's plan to have our workouts done in the morning. You already know yourself. You know your temperament, you know your moods, you know how you work, right? You already know whenever you get off of work at 6, you're not going to get home until 7. And cooking is just not going to be it for you. You are usually good at cooking after work, but this week you already know it's going to be a little bit different. So you decide on Sunday to meal prep and get yourself prepped on dinners for the next 5, 6, 7 days. So when you come home after work, you don't even have to mess around with the stove. You just grab your meal prep from the fridge, warm it up, and there you go. You've already solved 2 issues that have arisen from this shift in your routine. Disciplined people realize how important time management is. Time management is key. You don't just let life happen to you. You take control of the things that you can control and you move forward. There are some things that are going to be out of your control, right? Like having to stay after at work an extra 2 hours for the whole week. You can't control that. It's unfortunate, it's annoying, but what you can control is still pouring into you and still doing the things that you need to do to feel good, to fuel your body, to keep pushing in life. Disciplined people know how important time management is. And if you're lacking in that, if you're just letting life happen, even though you know that things are happening around you, right? Use Notion, Google Calendar, grab a physical planner, start putting important dates in your calendar. Do not build a routine based off of your perfect days, based off of your perfect weeks, okay? Build a routine based off of your real life, okay? And manage your time wisely. It's going to help push you so far along. I promise you. Once I started implementing this, like building a routine based on my actual life and not the life that I wish I had, like everything changed for me. So I hope this helps. I hope this key tip helps a lot. Okay guys, number 4, disciplined people are committed to continuously learning and being students of life. In this season of life, you are no longer letting your ego get in the way of your progress. So that means taking the back seat and learning from people who know more than you, taking the back seat and observing the full situation. A disciplined person is humble enough to be in rooms where they may feel small, but they still take up space anyway. And they find inspiration in being spaces filled with people who know more than them, where they can consistently learn. Obviously, this is not just about being around people who are in positions that you want. This is about just taking the time to be a student in your everyday life. When it comes to your fitness goals, when it comes to your career goals, you need to realize that you can't always be the main character in every situation. And sometimes it's important to take a step back, become a supporting character, learn from the people around you, learn from the situation that's taking place, and figure out what you can do to move forward from there. Because a lot of times we tend to have this laser focus with our goals, right? And sometimes it doesn't work out. And that frustrates us, right? I know it frustrates me when something is not working and I sit here over analyzing my strategy. I sit here looking at my strategy and saying things like, this is a perfect strategy. This worked for this person. This worked for this person. This is what people have been saying. Why isn't this working for me? Why isn't this working for me? Girl, take a step back. Okay? It's time to demote yourself from main character to supporting character and observe what's going on. Really take the time to process what isn't working and why with clear eyes. Have to be committed to learning and changing, right? Like we talked about earlier, that adaptability. You have to be committed to learning and making changes that make sense. But in order to do that, you have to put yourself in a position to be open to learn, right? You have to be open to criticism. You have to be open to outside opinions every once in a while, okay? But be wary of where you're taking these opinions from, of course. You have to continuously be comfortable with being a student if you want to grow in the field that you're trying to grow in. You do not know it all, and that is okay. I don't have all the answers. Heck, I'm sitting here giving you guys advice based off of all the lessons that I've learned, specifically this past year, but in the last 10 years of my life, pretty much, in my whole 20s, okay? I don't have all the answers, and I am willing to sit and listen to other people and take on other people's experiences to help myself grow. And that is a difference between someone who's disciplined and someone who's not. You have to continuously learn. What is the first thing you do before you send in an application for a job? The first thing that I do is I go on Glassdoor.com and I look at all of the reviews that have been left by prior employees and employees that are still a part of those companies. If I see that the CEO or managers or whoever's over the company or whoever's working with you, if I see that they are not very collaborative, they are the type of people that just look down on their employees and just bark orders at their employees, if I see reviews like that, I'm not sending in my application at all. Because I want to work under someone who looks at their employees as people who are very capable of running this place, who are very capable of doing their jobs. And if you're not able to look at your employees and have trust in them and work with them, then I don't want it. When I was an assistant cheer coach, the head coach that I had was amazing. I still use a lot of the lessons I learned from her to this day. One thing that I noticed is that she would listen, not only to me, right? She would listen to me. She would listen to our girls. She would listen to parents. She was very, very receptive of criticism, and she was very receptive of changes that need to be made within the program. And she made those changes. Obviously, she has the final say, but she didn't look at everybody else in the program as beneath her just because she was a head coach. And that is what made the program thrive, in my honest opinion. When I became head coach, I tried to apply that same strategy, and it worked. It worked. My assistant at the time, which is my really good friend now, I never even looked at her as an assistant coach. I honestly felt like we were on the same level. We were both navigating this thing together. And anytime I was looking at something with sore eyes, with laser focus, with just bad energy, She was not afraid to bring me down to earth. And I so very much appreciated that all the time. She always brought in different perspectives. And I would take a step back and just be like, you know, you're right. You know, you're right. She had a great way of humbling me in the most respectful way, but just also bringing in different perspectives. Because sometimes when you're at the top, you just feel like what you say goes. But I think it's important to always remember to learn and put yourself in a position where you are open to learning and taking criticism so you can change and grow and continue to hit the goals that you've set for yourself. Wow, this one was way longer than I was expecting it to be, but I hope you guys got some value out of this one because this was a big one. This one should have been higher on the list. All right, guys, and number 5, our last one, disciplined people choose resilience over failure. They view setbacks as an opportunity to learn. They lean into self-reflection, assessing their progress, and identifying areas of improvement that'll help them switch their strategy around. Okay, strategy around. We are not just sweeping our failures under the rug. That is not what we're doing. We're looking at what didn't work for us in the situation, and we are figuring out how we can move forward and what we can do to not put ourselves in that same situation again. However, we don't let our failures define us, and that's where the resilience comes in. We don't let our failures put us into slumps. We don't let our failures make us feel as though we can't show our face anymore. No. And if someone asks us about this thing that we failed in, we give them an honest answer about why we failed at this situation. And we talk about what we're doing to be better in the future. Disciplined people do not have a fear of failure because a fear of failure is going to keep you in the same place. It's going to keep you stuck. And we are trying to move away from that. We're trying to move away from our old selves, okay? We're trying to move into a new version of ourselves. We are trying to move into a new version of ourselves. I'm not a perfect person. I am not trying to come on here and feed you this perfect life and this perfect strategy. I still struggle every single day with the things that I want for myself. However, I know that my resilience, I know that my emotions, I know that my work ethic is much stronger than anything else that tries to stand in my way. And I know that this is so true for you as well. If you clicked on this video to gain a little bit of motivation to become more disciplined to hit your goals this year, then I am so proud of you for taking the steps to invest in yourself. Remember, this is a lifelong investment. Nothing worth having is easy. And there are going to be times where you just want to curl up in a ball and reject it all. I want you to know that you can curl up in the ball, eat the chocolate that you want, watch the shows that you want, but get up the next day and get moving, right? Because you have big goals to hit and you're going to hit those goals this year. And I'm so confident in your abilities, and you should be confident in your abilities as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This video was so fun. Let me know if you want me to do another one of these. I didn't even mention all that I wanted to mention in this video. I wanted to keep it relatively short. I don't know how short this is going to be, but I wanted to keep it relatively short. So I hope this wasn't too long. But yeah, let me know if you would like a follow-up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Good luck on your goals. Good luck on everything that you are embarking on this year. I am rooting for you. I'm so proud of you. I am on your side. And yeah, guys, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Peace out, Girl Scout. Bye.
I'm pushing away. I'm falling, but I'm pushing away from you. Pushing away. Pushing away.